World's first openly gay imam assassinated in South Africa. Muhsin Hendricks, the world's first openly gay imam and a trailblazer for LGBT Muslims, was brutally assassinated in South Africa on February 15th, sparking outrage and fears of a targeted hate crime. Hendricks, who was the founder of the Al-Ghurbaah Mosque in Cape Town, was a safe haven for queer Muslims who was ambushed while sitting in a car in ooh, I don't know how to pronounce this, in Gqeberha, when two masked gunmen fired multiple shots, killing him instantly. The ILGA World family. So ILGA is like the International Alliance of Lesbians, Gays, whatever. Family is in deep shock at the news of the murder of Muhsin Hendricks and calls on the authorities to thoroughly investigate what we fear may be a hate crime, said Julia Ehrt, the executive director of IGLA. Known globally for his advocacy, Hendricks dedicated his life to helping LGBT Muslims reconcile their faith and identity, despite fierce backlash from conservative circles. While police continue investigating the motive, many see this as a violent silencing of a man who dared to challenge religious taboos in pursuit of acceptance and love. So, Mushin was actually pretty famous. There was a documentary made against him, about him, I should say. And the documentary was called The Radical, and it profiled his life and how he was once like married and have a family, ended up getting divorced and coming out of the closet and being open about his identity, and how he went out of his way to try to promote like pluralism within Islam and pluralism within Muslim communities, and help people who wanted to reconcile their LGBT identity with being a Muslim. And apparently what happened was, he was assassinated execution style because he was on his way to go officiate a wedding, and it was an interfaith wedding because he was basically the only Muslim leader who was willing to officiate interfaith weddings. I heard some report that he ended up getting married to a Hindu man himself. I don't know 100% if that's
Oh,
true, but I
wow.
did read that somewhere. And he was on his way to officiate one of these weddings when this targeted killing occurred. And what's so like there were some uh Muslim councils in South Africa who have always come forward and disagreed with his interpretation of Islam and disagreed with his teachings, and they came forward and said, that while they find his teachings consistently incompatible with Islam, like we condemn, his murder and the acts of violence targeting the LGBT community and any other community. And but what was so noteworthy is when a lot of these other Muslim community organizations came forward to talk about his murder, they refused to identify him as an imam. They didn't refer to him with any of the typical religious honorifics that you normally would. They would only refer to him as Mr. They didn't validate um his religious position, which I thought was interesting. Um there's To be completely honest, there's a part of me that wonders if this was a hate crime or not, only to the extent that I personally believe South Africa is a failed state, um, because of how badly things have deteriorated and how violent it is. I'm like, do we know that this was in fact targeted, or was this just
It's
par for the course? But so far, based on statements being made by authorities and so forth, it seems that it was a targeted killing.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, this is obviously incredibly tragic. And when news of his death came out, I think no one would be at all surprised to learn that there was praise for his murder all across social media, and praise for his death and what happened to him by just Muslims all around the world, including in our own live chat including in our own live chat, where local Muslim commenter Kimba came forward and say how at the beginning of the show, he commented how this guy thought he can be gay and an imam. What's wrong with him? The capital punishment is clear if you did this that sin. So we have Kimba ourselves here as a case in point, uh legitimizing his fate, what happened to him. And this is one of the reasons why I don't ban people like Kimba, who says all sorts of filth in our live chat that I'm fucking tired of. Because people like this come forward and identify themselves, and that's useful. And it is a useful example, a real time example of the problems and the attitudes we're talking about. Because once again, we say it all the time. We do not have to make up or lie or tell people, oh, these are the attitudes, blah, 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 blah. Because they come forward and expose themselves. We just have to display it for what it is. And we see that right here. Armin, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, on point. Um, by the way, Susie, you've been on fire. I mean, I was gonna say today, but you're on fire most of the time. Like your points are
Oh, thank
so.
you.
This is why people miss you when you're not on the streams that I do. You just have a way with words. Um, I just wanted to add, like, again, people like this. Uh, a lot of people, I think our community is a lot more mature than other communities because a lot of other places people are confused on how to talk about somebody like him. Do we support this guy? Do we appreciate him? Yes. And people are like, well, he's wrong because Islam is anti-LGBT. Islam is uh, homophobic. This guy is an idiot. To this guy does not like this is I don't know. Some people will go as far and say this is taqiyya. Like, how could you support such a person? He's misrepresenting Islam. Yeah, we disagree with people. We appreciate and disagree with people at the same time. This guy was doing in many times. This guy is a victim. It's a tragedy. Is he an imam? Yes. Is there a contradiction between Islam and being gay? Yes, but he didn't see it that way. And just because somebody has a wrong opinion, that doesn't mean that we cannot appreciate what they're doing, their activism, many of the good work that they're doing. It's just a disagreement. Okay,
Yeah,
don't make
like
disagreements. Yeah, go on.
we don't make disagreements a condition for friendship. Another way to reframe what you're saying, Armin, is we have fierce ideological disagreement with people who are the so-called reformers of Islam or the people who are trying to liberalize Islam, because usually typically reform in Islam means a return to fundamentalism. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that are the so-called reformers who want to bring establish an appreciation for liberal values within Islamic practice. We have a fundamental disagreement that is compatible with Islamic teaching, right? But we appreciate the behaviors and aspirations of the reformers in the sense, am I making myself clear? Like, we appreciate the behavior that they're demonstrating as people, but we still disagree with the idea that this ideology of Islam can ever be compatible with liberalism. But we celebrate the more welcoming behavior that they are exhibiting.
Exactly.
Am I making sense?
That makes complete. That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreements does not have to be a condition for friendship or support, right? I mean, we will never back down on saying Islam is full on anti-gay, anti-human, to be honest, right? But if somebody sees it otherwise, we will say they're wrong, but that doesn't mean there are enemies.
Yeah.
And but I guess Susie, just say it. You just said everything I want to say better. So it made complete sense. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, Gajan gave a super chat with some more context, saying he's Gajan said he's married to a Hindu man in 2006. As a fellow Gajan, this helps. Fellow Gasian because the guy was Asian. He was Pakistani originally. As a fellow Gasian, this hits close to home. To be able to love and marry in accordance to the Tao of your heart is a privilege I won't take for granted. 100%. And I think that sentiment is something that is still felt very deeply by people who are same sex attracted and able to um, express that and have any legal right to partnership regarding that.
Wait,
I don't take it for
in
granted.
accordance. I mean, I wouldn't say it's according to Tao. It's
No, but
according
that's
to.
that's Gideon's way.
It's it's the
His
it's
way is
it's
the way
the
of the commie, the commie and the Tao.
okay. But yeah, okay, sure. I'm gonna allow it, even though I don't believe in Tao and all that stuff. I think like you're just
Yeah.
using symbolic language, right,
Well, you
Gajan?
wouldn't understand as an Abrahamic anyways.
Yes, yes. I'm stuck within my Abrahamic mindset.
Um, yeah.
We also got a super sticker from Carl. Thank you so
Oh,
much,
thank you,
Carl.
Carl.
Thank you.
And we got a comment from Heavy Gretel that you highlighted saying Western queers completely throw out the rest of the community under the bus so they can virtue signal for people that hate them. Yes, 100%. And you know what this is? This is a prime example of an idea of a luxury belief. Okay. Because think of it this way, and this is an idea developed by Rob Henderson, which is luxury goods are goods in which people buy because they confer a certain level of status upon them, right? A
Mhm.
luxury belief is a belief that you hold because of the status that it confers upon you, but you are isolated from the consequences of that belief because it's a luxury. So, I think it's a prime example of that. The LGBT community in the West is driven by this to such an extent. I personally no longer even refer to myself as part of the LGBT community because I don't feel like it is my community. I am not lesbian, gay, or trans. I just refer to myself as bisexual because I feel so disaffiliated from the community and the lack of individualism and the groupthink that it perpetuates and the moral purity testing. Um, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? I feel extremely othered by it, and I don't like to be associated with that stuff. I just want to be Susanna, and Susanna happens to be bi, whatever. Um, so
So it's I'm gonna it's because a lot of times when I talk about the things that the directions that the LGBT movement has gone, and I get worried about um people seeming like, hey, I don't care about gay rights or bi rights or trans rights or stuff like that. Um, but I don't know. But then when I see people from that community come out and say that themselves, I feel like no, I'm not being against their rights when I say that. Like so, there are many other people, trans people, lesbians, gays, and bi people that they are coming out and saying like they don't feel like this community, the whole LGBT community is
yeah,
representing them, and they don't like the direction that it's going. So it's not homophobic or transphobic to say that, even if
no,
you're
not at
wrong.
all.
Even if you're wrong, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And to
let's
be
look
clear,
at
when I
these.
talk about this kind of thing, make it specific to the Western LGBT community. I don't project it onto countries where it is still very, very, very deadly. It's they really
I
should
mean,
not be conflated globally. They're very
I mean,
separate.
one of the best examples of the LGBT flag. One, I think the fact that they put black and brown
Yes,
in the
is the
LGBT flag,
don't
which
even get me
show
started.
which is an American centric problem.
Yes.
Just show it was a big fuck you. I'm not dismissing it as a problem. It is a problem. But I think that was a big fuck you from the Western LGBT community to the rest of the world, as if this is an American thing
Yes.
by changing that flag. I don't know.
I know no, I literally get that complaint from my friends who are LGBT in, like, non-white countries. They're like, "What the hell? I don't need brown on the flag. We're all brown here." Like, wait, can I actually show a meme that I think about a lot in regard to
Well, we
this?
have 4 minutes, so
No,
do
no,
it
no, no,
fast.
this is so
Okay,
quick.
good.
'Cause you know the whole, like, which way Western man, like, reject modernity, embrace tradition, as if modernity isn't, like, the whole reason why we have anything, like, prosperous and good in this world. But this is the version of it that I I promote this. Reject modernity, embrace tradition.
That's funny.
I
That's
unironically support this. The entire reason why okay, because I was, really deeply into queer history for a very long time. The entire reason why Mr. Baker created
weird.
the LGBT flag, the gay pride flag, to be rainbow was specifically because it is supposed to capture every shade, every color, every variation. He specifically chose the rainbow because it was supposed to be universalizing.
Okay, we have two
Sorry, I know.
minutes. Okay, so
I know.
that's okay. So this comment, read this comment.
This person is saying, "Where are the moderate Muslims I keep hearing about who condemn this type of violence? They don't object to this. They don't object to the nurses in Australia threatening to kill Jews. It's almost like they don't exist."
And that's what we've been saying. Okay, here, this one.
Yeah, and this person is saying, "Queers for Palestine are oddly quiet about this. Why?"
Mhm. And this one.
Oh, yeah, so this
Oh
is a prime
wow.
example once again of, someone actually praising this. This is the attitudes we're talking about. We don't have to make them up. We don't have to tell you that they exist. We just have to show you. Exhibit A, saying, "Beautiful. The next ones won't think of trying it."
And this, wow, and with a blue check mark too. Amazing. Um, okay, so there's that. And guys, we need to go within a minute. We got a unicorn celebrating 16 month of membership, saying thank you as always,
16
Susan Armin. Thank you.
already? Wow.
And then thank 16 months, thank you so much. And then Baristana saying Susie come to Israel.
I
So
really want to, but I can't this year. I have to attend too many weddings.
yeah, and then there was another comment that you starred.
Oh,
So
this
you
is
know,
I thought this was sweet. I just wanted to highlight this. My lady in red is saying, "I thought to myself, how am I supposed to be Muslim when I'm gay? I was only able to accept that when I first heard ex-Muslims speak about their doubts that made me leave the religion. Thank you."
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.